Hello, my name is Ari Waldman. I'm a person who stutters. Today is video parsha, day 64, Sunday, January 3rd, 2021, the 19th of tevet. My YouTube parsha, day 64. I'm practicing pausing. Here goes. Parsha Shemos, Parshat Shemot. This is the second book of the Torah, of the 5 books of Moses. Also known as the second book of the 5 books of Moses. It's also known as Sefer HaBa'anim, also known as Sefer HaGeula. The name of this parsha. The word Shemos means names, as in the verse, these are the names of the children who came out of Egypt. A person's name is an extremely personal matter. Whenever a person hears his name called out, the word resonates in his heart and lifts his spirits. People feel so strongly for their names that they are willing to pay fortunes to have their names written on buildings. As they yearn for their names, for their identity to be perpetuated in stone. In fact, a name is such a deep-rooted entity that if a person faints, God forbid, whispering his name into his ear can actually bring him back to consciousness. This is the inner significance of a name. Superficially, however, a name does not express a person's unique, essential qualities at all. In fact, many different people possess exactly the same name. A name thus expresses somewhat of paradox. On the surface, a name tells you nothing about a person, and yet on probing deeper, it is a word that represents a person's total uniqueness. And it is precisely for this reason, the paradoxical quality of a name, that this parsha is called names. The paradox in our parsha is that we read here of a moment of gloom for the Jewish people. They descend into exile. They are enslaved. And when a glimmer of hope appears on the horizon, when Moshe comes to redeem the Jewish people, the immediate result is things get worse. And yet, on the other hand, the Midrash states that the key theme of our parsha is redemption. Shemos, the Rabbah, 1:5, but that is why the parsha is called names. For a name is also a paradox. Precisely the same type of paradox when we witness in this parsha. For just as a name is superficially a concealment of a person's true identity, for so many other different people share the same name, and yet deep down, a person feels that his name represents his total uniqueness. So too, Parsha Shemos is superficially a concealment of the Jewish spirit. But deep down, the spirit always remains intact and alive. Without further ado, first reading, Rishon, corresponding to Sunday, Parshat Shemot in the book of Shemos. Beginning of the Egyptian exile 1. These are the names of the children of Israel. Israel is also another name of who? Yaakov, Jacob, who came to Egypt with Yaakov. Each man came with his household. Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, and Yehuda. Yisachar, Zvulun, and Binyamin. Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the people who emerged from Yaakov's loins were 70 souls. And Yosef was in Egypt. Yosef died as well as his brothers, and all that generation, the children of Israel were fruitful and swarmed and increased and became extremely strong. The land became filled with them. A new king arose over Egypt, who did not know Yosef. He said to his people, "Look, the nation of Israel's descendants are more numerous and stronger than we are. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they increase. For if a war will occur, they will join our enemies, fight against us, and depart from the land." So they appointed over them tax collectors to afflict them with their burdens, and the Jewish people built stronger cities for Pharaoh, namely Pithom and Ramses. But as much as the world set their hearts to afflict them, so did they multiply, and so did they spread. The Egyptians were disgusted because of the children of Israel. Because of the children of Israel, the Egyptians enslaved the children of Israel with crushing labor. They embittered their lives with their hard work, with mortar, and with bricks, and with all kinds of labor in the fields. All their work that they made them do was crushing labor. Jewish midwives defy Pharaoh. The king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, one whom was named Shiphrah, and the second whom was named Puah. He said, "When you help the Hebrew woman give birth, and you look on the birth stool, if it is a son, you shall put him to death. But if it is a daughter, she may live." The midwives, however, feared God, and they did not do what the king of Egypt had told them. They kept the boys alive. This is the end of my YouTube parsha, day 64. Have a great day. Goodbye.